Counting on Jana Duggar makes big trip back to Arkansas. Many 19 kids and counting viewers thought Jana Duggar might be single for life. In fundamental religious circles, it's not uncommon for the oldest daughter to remain single at home with her parents to help care for them as they age. Several fans felt pleasantly surprised when Jana announced she married Stephen Wisman. Their union caught fans off guard, but so did their move. Shortly after saying "I do," the Wismans relocated to Nebraska. Jana may not see her family as often as she used to, but it's always a joyous reunion when visits do happen. Check out the photos from Stephen and Jana's recent trip back to Arkansas. Jana Duggar Wisman spends quality time with family. Fans of the Duggar family are over the moon about Jana's marriage. Her social media audience can't help but notice how happy she seems as she and Stephen Wisman go on adventures. Most agree that Jana Duggar never seemed quite this vibrant when she was still living at home with her parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle. But sometimes visiting family is adventure enough for the newlyweds. In a new social media post, Jana shared that she and Stephen took a trip to the family home in Arkansas. "I always enjoy our trips down south to visit friends and family. It was a quick trip, but it's always so much fun to see everyone and catch up." The former Counting On star shared on Instagram. She attached several photos of outings, including many with friends and Duggar family members. Jana also included a handful of selfies with her new husband. Fans react to the former TLC star's latest post. Longtime Duggar fans had plenty of questions for Jana and Stephen. After all, there's been quite a bit of speculation over whether or not the couple is expecting. In the Duggar family, there's almost always at least one pregnancy. Now that the Wismans have been married for several months, followers have suspected they'll be the next couple to make a major announcement. But until then, Instagram users will just have to wait. In the comments, fans wanted to know more about their family plans, as well as renovation plans for their home. Others just left kind words for the newlyweds. Comments included: "Are you guys planning to have a family or just enjoy yourselves as spouses? Girl, you are glowing. I love that you found your one. Such a beautiful couple. So happy for you. You have waited a long time for your own happiness. Best wishes on the new marriage and your future. He's a cutie, glad to see you married and happy." The Arkansas sky was painted in soft hues of pink and amber as the sun began its slow descent behind the Ouachita Mountains. The air smelled of sweet honeysuckle and distant memories. It had been nearly a year since Jana Duggar had stood on the porch of the big White House where she'd spent most of her life. And now, suitcase in hand and heart full of mixed emotions, she was finally home. Jana had always been a little different from her siblings. While many of the Duggar girls had taken traditional paths, marriage, motherhood, and ministry, Jana had charted a quieter, more independent course. For years, fans of Counting On watched her faithfully care for her younger siblings, tend the garden with a patient grace, and oversee home projects with the focus of a seasoned designer. And yet, beneath her calm exterior lived a quiet longing, a dream for something just her own. That dream had taken her to places far beyond the gravel drive of the Duggar compound. First, it was a short-term trip to Nashville to help a friend renovate a historic house. Then a landscaping opportunity in the Carolinas. Before long, Jana had found herself working with a nonprofit that built community gardens in underserved neighborhoods across the South. She loved the work, getting her hands dirty, helping children plant their first seeds, and showing elderly residents how to grow their own herbs. She was still nurturing, still guiding, just in new and unexpected ways. But Arkansas had a pull that couldn't be denied. It wasn't just home, it was history. It was long summer evenings spent on the porch swing with Jill, laughing until their sides hurt. It was the smell of cinnamon rolls baking on a sleepy Sunday morning. It was the creak of old wood floors and the rhythm of life lived out loud, Duggar style. She'd known it was time to come back. Not permanently, maybe, but the kind of visit that meant more than just a weekend. A visit to reconnect, to breathe, to rest. As she walked through the front door, she was greeted with a chorus of cheers and the familiar chaos that came with Duggar family gatherings. There were cousins tumbling across the living room rug, little ones shrieking with joy, and voices calling her name like a beloved echo from the past. "Jana's home," shouted Josie, who'd shot up like a weed since Jana last saw her. In an instant, arms wrapped around her, Jingers, who'd flown in from La for the surprise. Joanna's, who clutched a sleepy baby girl in one arm and a chocolate chip cookie in the other. Even John David set down his toolbox to pull her into a one-armed hug. Their mom, Michelle, emerged from the kitchen with her warm smile and signature side hug. "We've missed you, sweet girl," she said, and there were tears in her eyes. Jana laughed, a little overwhelmed, a lot touched. "I missed y'all more than I thought I would." Dinner that night was everything Jana had missed. Chicken pot pie with flaky crust, sweet tea served in mason jars, and family stories traded like heirlooms around the table. Her father, Jim Bob, led the meal prayer, giving thanks for Jana's journey and safe return. After dinner, the younger kids put on a spontaneous talent show, complete with off-key songs, somersaults, and one very enthusiastic puppet act. Jana clapped and laughed, a familiar joy settling deep in her bones. Later, as the house quieted and the stars spilled across the sky, Jana stepped onto the back porch. The swing was still there, creaking just slightly as she sat down. She looked out over the garden she once tended, now wild with spring growth. Her sister Jessa joined her, holding 2 mugs of herbal tea. "You've changed," Jessa said after a while. Not accusing, just observing. Jana smiled. "So have you." Jessa nodded. "It's a good thing." They sat in silence for a few minutes, watching fireflies dance in the dark. "You thinking of staying?" Jessa finally asked. Jana sighed. "I don't know. Part of me wants to. I miss this. But I've also found something out there that feels like me." Jessa nudged her shoulder. "Then take your time. You don't have to decide tonight, or even this month." The truth was, Jana didn't know what came next. Maybe she'd return to her work with the nonprofit. Maybe she'd open her own greenhouse right there in Arkansas. Maybe she'd write a book about gardening and growing up with 18 siblings. The possibilities felt endless, and for the first time in a long while, not overwhelming. In the days that followed, Jana did what she did best. She helped. She repainted the guest bedroom, helped Jason organize his tools, showed Josie how to propagate succulents. She led a mini garden workshop for the neighborhood kids and made a whole batch of lavender soap for the church fundraiser. People noticed the difference in her. There was a lightness to her now, a quiet confidence that spoke of lessons learned and dreams yet to be fulfilled. Even fans online caught wind of her return. "Jana's back in Arkansas. She looks so happy." One follower posted alongside a photo of her at a local nursery. "Always rooting for her. She deserves the world," another wrote. And they were right. Jana had spent so many years supporting others, holding space, being the dependable one. But now she was learning to support herself too, to count on her own instincts, her own desires, her own timing. One evening, a neighbor asked her if she missed the cameras, the constant spotlight that came with reality TV. Jana just smiled. "Not really. I like real life better." The seasons would turn as they always did. Maybe she'd plant a garden this year, maybe not. Maybe she'd stay longer than planned, or head back out into the world with a new plan and a new dream. But one thing was certain, wherever she went, whatever she did, she was no longer just counting on faith, or family, or fans. She was counting on herself.